you remember the question we did earlier on? I want to go back to that question that we did earlier on. Quickly, we had Q1 and we had Q2. Q1 was positive 5, right? Columns. And please, I need you to listen attentively here. Q2 was negative 2 columns. Do you remember we said that charges would move from this to this? All right, such that Q1 new now becomes what? We got positive 1,5. Do you remember? And Q2 new, do you remember that question, right? Also became positive 1,5. Now, my question is this. How many electrons was transferred? Isn't it we said electrons? My answer should be positive 19 as an exponent. Pumudzo, what are you on about? Oh yeah, no, the exponent is positive 19. I see what you're talking about now. No, it's my mistake. It's my mistake. It's positive 19. You are correct. That was my mistake there. Okay. Is your question now answered? I did notice that we're talking about the exponent. Pendu? We're good. All right. Guys, look at this. I want us to look at this. Now, we're finishing the grade 10 concept now and then moving to more thicker stuff. But we just needed to lay this foundation quickly. My question now is this. Or let me throw this whole perspective to you again. Q1 was positive 5. Q2 was negative 2. When we brought them together and separated them, charges, we said charges moved from Q2 to Q1. I want us to prove that. And we can prove that by calculating the number of electrons that were transferred. We would see which one lost and which one gained. Okay, why when looking for Q new we divide by 2 in Q1 plus Q2? Because they are going to share until they become the same. Both of them will now have, remember, look, we said, check this. We said, let me create an example for you. Watch this. Watch this example. It's diffusion. How many circles do I have on the right? 7. How many do I have on the left? 4. They need to move in such a way that they'll be balanced. It must always be balanced. So what happens? Charges will move from here. So if I clean this, let's move this from here and bring it here. It will now be 5. Is it balanced? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. No, it's not balanced. That means we need to remove one more, but that one will now be in between so that this thing is balanced. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this one still needs to come here so that it's 5, 5. All right. Check this. Do you see? It's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is exactly what is going on. So that electrons can no longer move because we have the same number of electrons on the left and the same number of electrons on the right. Electrons will always move. So they will always move from where they are more to where they are less. But when they are both balanced, then they no longer move. That's why we now add and divide by 2. Vimesh, are you okay? Vimesh, talk to me. Are you okay? Hello, Vimesh. Hello. Not really. Tell me where you are lost. Electrons will always move from where it is more to where it is less. All right, Vimesh? Electrons would move. It's a nature of electrons. Electrons would move from where it is more to where it is less. It's like you and food. You'll always go to where there's food. I know. All right. So electrons would move from where it is more to where it is less. So if I have two people raising up their hands. If I have two objects, okay, hold on guys, let me re-explain again why we're dividing by 2. I have two objects. Is that okay? I have negative 2 columns here. I have positive 5 columns here. Electrons are moving from here to here. Question is, when will they stop moving? They will stop moving when we have the same number of electrons in both of them. Does that make sense? Electrons would always move from where they are more to where they are less. It's conduction. All right? When will they stop moving? They will stop moving when the number of electrons here is equal to the number of electrons there. How then do we get equality, the share? Can't we add the 2 together and divide by 2? Hold on. You have 5 oranges and your little brother has 3 oranges and you want to share to equality. What do? We can add the total oranges. We put them in a basket and we put all the oranges together. It gives us 8. We divide by 2. It gives you 4 and 4 equal. That's why we divide by 2. So that we have equal charges on both charged objects. That's why we divide by 2. Are we okay now? So we divide by 2 to get equality. Vimesh. We divide by 2 to get equality. You have 10 rand, I have 20 rand. How can we then have equal amount of money? Can we put it together and divide by 2 because we are 2? Vimesh, let me know if that explanation now makes more sense to you. All right. Let me know as we go on if it makes sense to you now. Because it must be equal. That's what we're saying. It must be equal. Electrons would move from where they are more to where they are less. They only stop moving when the charges are now equal. All right. I was going to calculate something here, and let me do that quickly. Vimash, you would let me know. You will let me know. All right. Now, if I then have this, how many electrons were transferred? How many electrons were transferred? How many electrons were transferred? What do we say? We said number of electrons equals to Q over E. Guys, please watch this. Learners make a lot of mistakes here and I want to sort this out. N equals, I want to calculate the number of electrons. Remember we said this guy, we said it gained. All right? And here we have what? A loss. We need to check if we are correct with our answer. All right? We need to check if we are correct with our answer. N equals to Q over E. The question is, what value of Q are we going to use here? That's the problem. What value of Q are we going to use? Because I've got 5, I've got 1,5. All right. Now, this Q is calculated like this. What is the quantity of charge? Please watch this. It's almost saying delta Q. All right. Because we want to calculate the quantity of charge or the number of electrons that was transferred. This was 5 and now it is 1,5. What quantity was transferred to this? How do you calculate delta in physics? It is always the final minus the initial. Do you remember? So it is basically QF minus QI. And what would that be? Check this. And therefore, what is my Q final? Positive 1,5 minus, what is my Q initial? 5 over negative 1,6 times 10 to the power negative 19. So please take note. This Q here talks about the quantity that was transferred. So there is a quantity that was transferred from here for it to become 1,5. All right? From 5 to become 1,5. Let's go to our calculator and then calculate. 1,5 minus 5 over negative 1,6. Okay, I'm doing the whole calculation now, Odrile. What's my answer? 2,1875. And it's positive here. 2,1875. 2,1875 times 10 to the power 19 electrons. All right? 2,1875. That's the number of electrons that Q1 received. All right? That is the number of electrons that Q1 received. How many electrons did Q2 lose? All right? How many electrons did Q2 lose? Let's check something here quickly. How many electrons did Q2 lose? Again, we do the same thing here. Let's do the same thing. N equals to Q over E. Again, how do we get this Q? It is Q new. Okay, Matlante, I want us to prove that. Let's prove it if we are going to be correct. Q new minus Q old. 1,5 minus, what's our Q old? Our Q old is negative 2 over negative 1,6 times 10 to the power negative 19. And what will this give us? Calculator. All right, I'm just going to clean that. 1,5 minus negative 2. Do you see our answer is actually the same? Negative 1,285. Negative 1,285. Negative 1,21875, right? 21875. Negative 21875 times 10 to the power what? 19. What do you notice? Do you notice that the minus means there's a loss here? And the positive here means there is a gain. The number of electrons that was lost is the same number of electrons that we gained. Are we good? Are we okay? Please talk to me. Are we okay? So how do you round off here? All right, I didn't round off because I wanted to show the exact numbers, but if you were to round up, I'm getting a different answer. Okay, guys, can you please do the calculations and check? Somebody says is getting a different answer. Can we do the calculations together and quickly check? Please do your calculations and tell me if something is wrong. Quickly, please do your calculations and check. If I were to round off, I would round off to 2 decimal places, all right, to be 2,19. Lindo not getting the same answer. What's wrong? What are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? We should be getting the same answer. Please check. Is there anybody getting my own answer? You're not getting the same answer. All right. Thanks, Francis. I got 2,1775. No. What are you guys getting? Guys, are your calculators brought from China? Come. You guys, sanitize your calculators. I hope they don't have corona. Some of you should just rub sanitizer on your calculator. No, Galaxy, they must just put sanitizers. Spray those calculators with sanitizer. They have corona now. Come, guys, quickly. I think just to move ahead. All this is still grade 10. I'm still in grade 10 here. I'm about to move to grade 11 now. Good. Galaxy is helping you guys. Shift mode, setup 8 normal. Pendu, it cannot be 1,875. It should be 2,1875. In fact, look at my, can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, I'm actually trying to zoom there. I don't know if it's visible. That's my calculator there. That is my calculator. Okay, guys, we shouldn't stay long on calculations. We need to move on. Try resetting your calculator, shift mode, then it goes to setup, and then you choose number. Thanks, Lindo, you saw your mistake. Beautiful. All right. So, guys, I'm sure we are all on the same page now. We are all on the same page because that's where we need to be. We cannot be on different pages. So that's how we do calculations. You agree to my second answer. Both answers are actually the same. It's just that one is negative and the other is positive. All right. Pendu, I don't understand when you say not Q1. Not Q1. Both answers should be the same because whatever is... Oh, I see what you're talking... Oh, okay, wait. I see what you're talking about. I wrote it wrongly. Negative 2,18. All right. No, I see. I wrote it wrongly. 21875. All right. Okay, so we're good now. Negative 2,18. All right, beautiful. Thank you. Now let's move forward as fast as possible. Now, all of this that I've done so far is still grade 10. Now let's go to grade 11. We have 4 minutes to begin to deal with grade 11. Now we talk about Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law. And guys, please, we're not going to negotiate whether you should know Coulomb's law or not. It's non-negotiable. Coulomb's law. So that it looks nice, I'm going to just work with my keyboard. Coulomb's law. We are not negotiating here. Coulomb's law. And how do we then state Coulomb's law? All right. The magnitude, very key word, of the electrostatic force between two charged objects or bodies is directly proportional all right, proportional to the product of their charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. I want to ask you a question. Have you seen this law somewhere? Something close to this. Have you seen this law somewhere? Something very close to this. I've seen it somewhere. Talk to me. Have you seen it somewhere? Say, okay, or do you really? I've seen this law somewhere. Aha, you good. Newton's law of universal gravitation. Perfect. So basically, we are doing Newton's laws again. The magnitude of the electrostatic force between two charged objects is directly proportional to the product of their charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. What is my formula going to be? Again, readily available on the formula page. I'm going to go take you through the formula page and go write it from there. What is the formula, so that you would see where I'm writing the formula from? The first one, F equals to K Q1 Q2 over R squared. That's my formula. F equals to K Q1 Q2 over R squared. That is my formula. F equals to K Q1 Q2 over R squared. Coulomb's law. Are we okay? Where did I put my Coulomb's law? F equals to K Q1 Q2 over R squared. Just a second. I'm looking for my page. All right, we are going to get logged out now again. You just know what to do. We log in again until we are done with the first part. We need 2 more lessons to get this whole thing sorted. Guys, when I teach, it's quite slow, but after this, you wouldn't need any other reading. It will stay with you. So what's my formula? F equals to K Q1 Q2 over R squared.